Demons are spirit beings that take up residence in people. And the demon had caused this boy, at the end of verse 17, to be mute. Not only mute, we find out later in the story that he was also deaf. The boy could not hear, and the boy could not speak, and it had nothing to do with some kind of physical problem. It had to do with demonic control. The demon had such power over him. It may also have had to do with brain damage that the demon had literally inflicted on this boy. And I'll tell you how as you continue to read. Verse 18, whenever it seizes him. Whenever it seizes him. The demon seizes him. This is not some kind of genetic disorder. This is not some kind of childhood disease that he's had to live with. The symptoms are totally in the control of the demon. Luke adds that the boy, when seized by the demon, suddenly screams. And this is where the sort of general diagnosis comes in Matthew 17. He's a lunatic. The demon periodically produces this power over the boy. It makes him scream, and then it slams him to the ground. Slams him to the ground. Strong verb again. Concussion after concussion after concussion after concussion. Little wonder that the symptoms show up. Classic symptoms of a grand mal seizure, though that kind of seizure can be caused by some dysfunctional aspect of the brain. This is trauma. This demon is literally battering this kid. And he foams at the mouth. This is not, again, by some brain dysfunction. This is demon domination causing such trauma to the boy's body that I think he's scarred the brain. Throws him into convulsions. He begins rolling around. As it says later, on the ground. And then he grinds his teeth and stiffens out. Demons have great power over bodies. They do. They can do this. Satan, it says in Hebrews 2, is even given the power of death. But that's all within God's permission. Satan is a great power in the world. His demons are great powers in the world. Luke 9:39 uses the verb soon tribo, which means to crush or shatter or maul. And it says the demon is mauling this poor boy. No wonder he brought this boy to Jesus, who had a reputation for being able to cast out demons. Well, the problem is, end of verse 18, they couldn't do it. I brought him to your disciples. They couldn't do it. Luke says he begged them, and they still couldn't do it. That's very strange, because back in chapter 6, you will remember this in verse 13, it says, regarding the apostles, they were casting out many demons. How did they do that? Verse 7, he gave them authority over the unclean spirits. Jesus had delegated power to them, his power delegated through them to cast out unclean spirits, and they had been doing it. They had been doing it. Chapter 6 says that. And they were casting out many demons. What's going on here? Why do they now fail? What's wrong? What happened? Bring him to me, he says at the end of verse 19. Bring him to me. At this point, the man would get what he wanted and the demon would get what he didn't want. They would both come face to face with the sovereign Lord for the good of the man and for the bad of the demon. So they start to bring the boy to him. And according to verse 20, they brought the boy to him. Luke adds, and while he was still approaching, as they're bringing the boy, the demon begins to go into action. This is really dramatic. when he saw him, when the eyes of Jesus saw the boy, the demon could then see Jesus as Jesus saw him. Immediately the Spirit threw him into a convulsion, literally convulsed him. And falling to the ground, or being thrown to the ground, he began rolling around and foaming at the mouth. Terrible trauma, a kind of smashing to the ground. It's not a stretch to imagine that this, they say about football players, you can have 3 concussions and that's all you can have. Who knows how many hundreds this young boy had had smashing his brain against his skull by the power of this demon. And now he is rolling and foaming at the mouth in the midst of this convulsion. While this dangerous, demonic display of vile power is going on, and again, I think this demon always was trying to kill this boy, but the Lord never let him.